when fun turns into addiction. So I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty today of that tipping point where we go from enjoying a drink or a drug to it actually having control of us and not being able to stop. And then with that, we have increased tolerance, and then we have consequences, and then we have a really, really nasty slide downwards that could, if untreated, land in death. A common statistic is that 1 in 3 people who are far enough along the DSM-5 criteria to actually classify as an addict, so regardless of the substance, they will actually, 1 in 3 will die. Now, we don't have super reliable data on this because the reality is on autopsy reports, they write heart failure. A lot of people don't admit to, what it is, especially when it's, they died via suicide, but the reason for the suicide was often addiction and the shame that addiction leads them in. So it's a very, very serious condition, but it starts out for many as a good time, or seemingly. So that's what I want to talk about today, that when fun turns into addiction, and also the lies we're telling ourselves about this, because on externally it looks like say, if you take me as an example, looks like party, 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 life of the party, on the tables, last girl standing, having super fun. Next thing you know, she's doing this relapse rehab cycle, and drinking herself into a stupor and hiding bottles in a handbag. So externally it looks really bizarre. Like, how did that happen? One moment was all good times, and then the next it was destruction and pain and shame and losing jobs and losing partners and all this stuff. The reality is that's what it look like on the outside. On the inside, the descent was, well, it did still happen pretty fast, but there was the public persona, and then there was what was happening in private. So the public persona happened pretty fast. In private though, I was getting lonelier and lonelier and lonelier, and that's when I started drinking to self-soothe and pathologically self-soothe, and that's when it took control. And most people's journeys will cover that. Some people will go faster, more will be hidden from an earlier age, but what happens ultimately is you can't hide the fact that it's no longer fun, and the substance actually takes over, and that's when others tend to start knowing about it and hearing about it. But ultimately it happens in private for the most part. Like, subscribe, and join to find out lots more.